Welcome back to The Edge. Unveiling Gemini, Google's latest innovation, and Bard's Gemini Pro update. Meet Grok, the new ChatGPT competitor launched by X. There's a landmark decision. Jury rules Google is guilty of unlawful monopoly in the App Store battle. You're listening to News from The Edge for the week of December 11th, 2023, here on Edge of the Web Radio.
From the Edge of the Web studios, here's what we're looking at this week.
This is Edge of the Web. I'm your host, Aaron Sparks, and let's get to the news here. We're covering SEO and digital marketing each and every week. Actually, we're covering the news of those particular tactics each and every week, separate from our weekly interview series where we talk to some fantastic influencers in digital marketing from around the planet. Check out everything over at edgeofthewebradio.com. That's edgeofthewebradio.com. The title sponsor of this episode of News from the Edge is Site Strategics. We're proud to have Site Strategics as the title sponsor of Edge of the Web. We're one of the top SEO companies in the Midwest. Our team at Site Strategics is fantastic. They're consummate learners. Thus, the reason for this show. We're focused on a lot of different things in the current SEO space. I'll talk a little bit more about them later in the show here. Joining me, however, this week on the news is not Morty. Move Morty over. We've got Crystal Carter, head of communications over at Wix. How you doing, Crystal?
I'm doing just wonderful. Always a pleasure to be here on Edge of the Web. And yeah, thanks for having me.
We saw you in San Diego in person. It was great to be able to finally meet you. Broke some bread, had some great time with Wix. Got out of there relatively unscathed. How about you?
Yeah. It was great. We ate some tacos. I think I stole some nachos from you guys. I don't regret it.
That was funny, actually. Literally, Jake and I are sitting on tacos, and I scream, "Crystal!" And literally, Crystal's walking down with George, and we were able to sit down and have a little bit of nacho before George wanted to go to bed early because he had a meeting. He couldn't stay out late, right?
It was great to see you. And yeah, they were great nachos. There was a great mariachi band as well. I spent some of my youth in San Diego, and it's always a pleasure to be back in the midst of so many fantastic taco places.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah.
What was that place called? Kick-ass tacos?
Badass
Tacos. Yeah, it was pretty good. It wasn't completely badass though. I mean, I think there was something. And they also tried to sell me some salsa, which I said yes, but they never brought it, and they also never put it on the bill either.
The Yelp reviews from
I'm
Aaron.
saying, where is my sauce?
Scathing.
All right, well, here's the deal. Thank you for joining us. Morty's a little bit under the weather here, so we wanted to make sure we had Wix represented here, and Crystal's always great to be able to jump in on the news with us. So thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
But talking about bringing the sauce, Google has brought the Gemini sauce, right? Google introduces Gemini and updates Bard with Gemini Pro. They've actually released new information about their Gemini product. It's an advanced AI model with multimodal understanding, advanced reasoning of complex topics, expert coding skills, and more. There are 3 different versions of Gemini, and this is their large language model answer to ChatGPT. Developed by Google DeepMinds, led by CEO and co-founder Demis Hassabis, Gemini stands as a testament to Google's ongoing commitment to being an AI-first company. Now, so check this out. They've got a nano version, they've got a pro version, and they have an ultra version. These are not rolled out for mass consumption yet, right, Crystal?
Yeah, so this is essentially a product drop for Google Cloud.
Right.
And I think this is really interesting. So not this year, but last year, I spent a lot of time digging into visual search and how that sort of works around like Google Lens and things like that. And when I was doing that research, I spent a lot of time looking at Google Cloud documentation and Google Cloud information and how they roll those things out. And it will, Google uses all of their tools. They will use everything available to them to sort of, understand search and to further their products and stuff. But it's important to remember that things often show up in the cloud before they're opened up to the masses. So this one in particular is something that they're planning to add to their Vertex AI offering, which has multiple strands to it and is going to be pulling through, lots of different parts of Google's AI tools. And it's really about I know SEOs are really interested in it and how it's going to help, with search and stuff, but it seems to be more geared towards people who want to create and who want to use generative AI to create new things and to allow people to create new things, which I think is why, like you said, it's their sort of answer to sort of OpenAI and that sort of thing. They want to be able to offer that as a service, as a very user-friendly and very accessible service for enterprise clients.
They've got, absolutely, they've got Nano, which is a in-app product, the Pro, which is the text-based, and the multimodal, and all these are creative as well. But the multimodal is the approach that actually is setting them apart because it's a very complex understanding of imagery, video, and audio. And as soon as I saw all those things laid out in front of them, I'm going, all right, we're talking SGE. We're talking not the creative side, but the interpretation of signals. And Google themselves said that this is going to be foundational for all of their products. So it's going to be present in almost everything that Google's doing. But when it comes down to what that new SERP is going to look like and how search is going to change based on the new SGE that we are all expecting to have rolled out, there's a betting pool right now going of whether or not it's actually going to get rolled out or if it's just an experiment, right? But when it comes down to it, for Google to understand the data points, the visual data points in an image, the data points in a video, the data points in an audio piece, as well as content, this is the answer to that. And SGE is basically the wrapper around it. Sorry, I'm just pontificating there, but I was excited to see that.
Yeah, and I think that they, as I say, they use everything in their arsenal, and they've got a lot of data. So, Google has YouTube, for instance, and every YouTube video has a thumbnail, and they can understand those things, and they can use, machine learning, and they do use the machine learning to understand the videos so that they can make those little clips for you or those bookmarks for the videos automatically, so that they can understand language on video, so that they can write transcripts automatically on YouTube videos. There's a lot of tools that they have available to them in order to make these things, and they're basically building on all of the other machine learning that they've got and pulling it all together. I think that is something that is, you're right, it's very exciting. So something like ChatGPT, for instance, at the moment needs plugins to do that kind of thing, right? So you add in a plugin and it will do something extra for you. But this is combining all of those things in a suite that is built to be connective to each other and will be able to be responsive to each other. And I think this also goes back to the enterprise thing. So they're offering it to enterprise folks, and they said in their release video, we're interested to see how people are going to use this. We're interested to see what ideas people will have for how to use this and how to create things, because that will guide them with their product innovation and will also guide them with, how they might use this in the SERP. Because the enterprise level websites that are going to be using this. So for instance, thinking about Vision AI, when you look at there's Giphy, for instance, if I remember correctly, Giphy uses Vision AI to give tags to the GIFs on their site.
Gotcha.
So that's powered by that. And Giphy has millions of GIFs, right? So that's going to give them lots of data about how that works in a GIF environment and how that works with images and things like that. And then they can take that to apply that to wider search. So all of these enterprise teams that are going to be using this software are essentially, beta testers, but they also will have large sets of data of people who are using their content. So I think it's really interesting. It's going to be really exciting. And I think we should start to see even more sophisticated AI integrations from some of the folks who have access to this incredible tool. And in terms of search, I think that the time that it'll take for us to get the improvements will be quicker than we've seen with some of the other rollouts of AI powered tech.
No, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. However, there was a fly in the ointment here as they rolled out the product video of how intuitive this model is. Well, they kind of stepped in something real quick, and they lost a really strong signal that they were trying to show here. They took heat for a misleading AI demo video of Gemini. So the deal is that they're facing controversy. A lot of people reared up because the video that demoed this, recognizing visual cues and interacting vocally with a person in real time, it was reported by Penny Olson in Bloomberg. Google admitted that this was not the case. Instead, researchers fed still images to the model and edited together successful responses, partially misrepresenting the model's capabilities. All right, so fake it until you make it, right?
Yeah, they and then they posted. So at the end, I think it's from the TechCrunch. At the end of that article, they say, "Oh, somebody posted a reply," and I had a look at the reply, and it's like some developer or some engineer showing exactly how they did it, and it's literally the difference between like the IKEA like furniture set that you see that's all like beautifully laid out, and the flat pack drama that you get at your house when it actually arrives. And
Oh,
it's
that's
not to say
poetic.
it's not to say that it's not clever and it's not wonderful and it doesn't work well, but the video that they show is very, very slick. It's very like, what do you think this is? Well, I think that's one of these. And I think that it's a little bit of a misstep. I think if they
Yeah.
just put like a sort of like this is this is a demo, like you get on video games where they're like, this is an actual gameplay,
Right.
but like you get the gist. And also like nobody has time for watching every single bit in between. So I think I'll allow it. But I'm glad
Jacob was saying,
been...
even if they would have just put a disclaimer on there that this we filled in a couple gaps here, but this is what it's going to do. That's don't screw yourself up and have that signal in front of a rollout. And we've seen those kind of screw ups before from product rollout of Google, right?
Yeah, I did definitely push it too hard.
Yeah.
If you're showing a video of someone playing rock, paper, scissors, and the response is, I think you're playing rock, paper, scissors, that's amazing. But they showed a picture of a hand showing 2, and it says, I think that's the number 2. And so they showed all 3 hands and said, now what am I doing? Hint, it's a game. And it comes back and it's like, oh, you're playing rock, paper, scissors. Like, it's fine. But it also, like, it lets you realize, like, this stuff is still so new.
Yeah.
You can really only ask questions you already know the answer to, right? Because if you showed those 3 pictures to a kid and said, figure out what this is using, Gemini, they might just say like, oh, it's hand holding up fingers. That's also right.
Right.
That's not the answer we're looking for. So you got to keep crafting it. Oh, it's a game.
Yeah, it kind of shows the maturation is that, okay, it can read these video cues here, but it's still not making that context connection. It does remind me, and as sad as this is, remember Theranos, the blood sampling tool?
Oh, yeah.
That actually said that they were able to take so many tests from this little tiny drop of blood, right? And they were trying to manufacture this thing. The engineers just couldn't. A lot of shows about this, but it was like, okay, well, we're going to try to present this, and then we're going to run back over to the other thing and actually do all the tests behind the scenes, and then push a file card through the system. I mean, come on. Sorry.
Yep.
Oh man.
It was bad.
Oh man. I think it's tricky to get sort of, excited, not caught up in all of the excitement of AI. It's super exciting, but I think it also comes back to the fact that, AI is a tool. And Gemini, really they're advertising it as a tool. This is a tool for enterprise. This is a tool for search. This is a tool for et cetera. It's a tool. It's a much faster tool than, some of the other tools that we've had before. It brings together lots of things together, in unique and fascinating ways. But at the end of the day, it is a tool, and we're still fine tuning the tool, and that's fine.
But there's a rush. There is a rush to be able to get these things out and into the marketplace of ideas, let alone if there's any type of monetization on this. And in context, I mean, literally, X just launched its ChatGPT rival. And this is an article from Search Engine Land by Nicholas Agius here. Grok was developed by xAI, the artificial intelligence venture founded by Elon Musk in July of 2023. It's available to users in the U.S. Availability in other countries is expected soon. So here's the deal is that another tool that's out there, right? It's a controversial chatbot. I'm sorry. It's a conversational chatbot that works on OpenAI's ChatGPT.
Both is right.
And Google's Bard.
It's also controversial.
It is controversial as well. It's powered by LLM called Grok-1. Grok, right? Literally, Grok. Find a name. We're going to bet on Grok on this one. All in favor? Jeez. Like Gwar, the rock band. God. So, but I mean, there's a rush for all these platforms getting their own AI out. And to your point, Jacob, there's still a lack of maturity in the language models. And is there nobody in that space saying, you know what, we should probably just wait on these things until we have some stable language maturation,
Yeah. Well, and you got to be careful too. Like one of the bullet points in the article says, makes up by being spicy AF. So when we were going out to Brighton, I had this weird thing where like my calf muscle like cramped up real bad as we got on the airplane.
Right.
And we're on Southwest, so you have free WhatsApp access.
Right.
And I was bored and my calf hurt a lot, so I started chatting with a WhatsApp bot.
Oh my God.
And I couldn't figure out which one to talk to, so I started talking to the one that does MMA fighting, apparently. So I was describing the pain and what I do, and all it would tell me is like, you just got to work through it, man. You just got to tough it out. This is how it is. I was like, right, but I'm on an airplane, and I can't tough it out. Like, do I need to see a doctor? Do I need to take medicine? Should I stretch it? Like, you just got to tough it out, man. And it was being so mean to me. I was like, this is not useful at all. And if this is how Grok is going to talk to people, no, it's going to be awful. You just got to tough it out, brother. Like, okay.
Embrace the suck.
Yeah. You got to push through it. Like, all right, well.
Man, that's yeah. I think that that's a really good point, though. Like, the source of the data is very, very important with any AI. And one of the things it says in the Search Engine Land article is why it's different. Grok ingests real-time data from X and incorporates it into responses. And
that's the wrong data sampling right there, folks.
That is a red flag if I've ever seen one. I'm sorry, but like, if you've ever tried to find out any kind of real-time information from X, it is chaos. Yeah. Like, I remember trying to find out what was going on with the election, or trying to find out what happened at the Oscars, or trying to find out literally anything. It's chaos because their algorithm is all over the place. It used to be pretty well filtered, but now literally, people will just stick the same hashtag on a picture with a cat because, and I'm literally looking for what happened at this concert or what happened in the news. Right. And I can't find it because people are diluting the, the news with spam. So if that is their source, again, you were saying slow down. If that's your source, like, clean your house first, clean up your data first, clean your house up first before you start sending people to get that information. Cause like, I don't trust that.
I think they finally found a use for all the bots inside of X. Just train Grok.
It gave them jobs. Great.
We're talking AI, and we're talking a lot of AI on the show here, but there are some fundamentals here. There's such a rush. There's such a series of jumping past steps that you must do. And I mean, there's certainly news of some regulatory moves happening right now, but I mean, it's almost like I'm thinking about as search actually talks to or is brought before Congress, and you have a lot of congressmen and senators that have no bloody clue what to even understand inside of the internet space. How in the world is Congress going to be able to put, or the world for that matter, put regulations on AI when they can't even understand what's being manufactured?
It's really tricky. And also, I mean, a lot of, Google has said, I'm pretty sure it was Sundar Pichai, said, like, we don't know the exact parameters of exactly how the algorithm works because it is machine learning trained. So it's changing all the time.
Yeah.
It's like trying to capture a river. Like, the river is always running. Like, the river is both one thing and it's not one thing at the same time. Like, it's always moving, it's always evolving. So it's very difficult to put any regulation in there. And I think the EU at the moment is trying to put something through. Right. The EU has been very, very active with tech regulations in the last sort of 5 or 6 years. So they're trying to pull something through. But the tricky thing with regulators is, like, it takes so long to get the regulations through. By the time you've done it, the technology's completely changed. So
that was very meta of you, your analogy right there. Oh yes, Meta's also growing out their own AI. Sorry, I just had to. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We got to keep abreast of it, though. We got to watch what's happening here and be able to give some feedback. It's really giving me goosebumps, honestly, as we're getting further and further down this Alice in Wonderland space here. We have no idea what's about to grab a hold of us. Evidently, Grok is going to be a very useful tool in the near future. It just makes sense to me. Slow the bloody blip down. All right. Hey, we are proud to have Site Strategics as the sponsor of Edge of the Web. We are pioneers in the agile digital marketing methodology. Our core specialties are entity, SEO, technical SEO, search engine marketing, social media marketing and management, as well as schema and structured data deployment, all focus on conversion optimization as well. That is results-based marketing. So if you're interested in what we can do for you, just go over to Site Strategics or just give us a call at 877-736-4932. All right, another article from The Verge. Epic win here. Their jury has decided that Google has an illegal monopoly in the App Store fight. Now, this is very, very important to actually understand what's going on here. This is an epic win for Epic. 3 years after Fortnite maker Epic Games and it sued Apple and Google for allegedly running illegal App Store monopolies, Epic has a win. The jury in the Epic versus Google has just delivered this week its verdict, and it found that Google turned its Google Play App Store and Google Play billing services into an illegal monopoly. And I really think, folks, this is probably going to be the first of many decisions against Google. I hate to say, because I hate to say it, but man, we do see some shady things, but we also know what they're doing in the good space of technology. But after a few hours of deliberation, the jury unanimously answered yes to every question put before them, that Google has monopoly power in the Android app distribution markets and in-app billing services, and that Google did anti-competitive things in those markets, and Epic was injured by that behavior. So you can look up the rest of the story about this particular court decision, but man, just having the association of monopoly and antitrust on a court case like this, and it's 3 years in the making, that certainly is going to have some ramifications with other trials and proceedings that are going on. I don't know if you wanted to weigh in on that, Crystal. It's a pretty sizable piece of information there.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting because it comes down to like who's publishing, who owns the marketplace, that sort of thing. So it's very interesting. I also noted that Epic lost their fight against Apple 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
It says Judge Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers decided that the fight had nothing to do with apps or something is what it said. So I'd be interested to know, I'm not familiar with that particular case, but I'd be interested to know what changed between the Apple case and the Google case, because as a marketplace, arguably,
Apple's larger, yeah.
Well, but arguably the people who own the marketplace can determine the rules. Certainly, like when you sell something on Amazon, for instance, like you're beholden to Amazon's rules.
Right.
So I'd be interested to know where get into some of the details of it. But yeah, it's a fascinating case. It's really, really fascinating.
It is, and it could very well be a harbinger of other cases to transpire here. But then everything on its own merits, right? And you can't just shoot from the peanut gallery. But there's some interesting things happening. I mean, with the tech giant also doing this Gemini rollout, there's a lot of different things that are happening right now. It's one of the most volatile periods in the internet history, right? And in fact, in Google even said that the Gemini was going to be one of the most monumental shifts in technology for the world. I don't know if I got the quote correctly, but they said something to that effect.
Yeah, I mean, Google turned 25 this year. And there's a lot of people who've been working. Yeah, right. Think of what life was like as a 25-year-old. Things start to get real. You have to pay rent. Like you have to get insurance. People ask you if you need a pension and you're like, a what? And they're like, a pension. And you're like, I'm not going to be old. And he's like, yeah, you will, sunshine. But I think the internet has matured immensely. And even just since post-COVID, we saw so much technological growth during that time.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think things are getting real out here on the interwebs.
You better believe it. Things are getting real. I want to talk to agencies for a second. If you host a large amount of clients like we do, you have a double duty of responsibility. Not only doing the best by the client on the advertising front, but also from the choice of host providers. Hosting a fleet of sites, you run into a number of challenges: backup plans, storage, and bandwidth limitations, as well as processor speed and its limitations as well. All this goes into user experience and load time. All these must be decided on, and that comes with a price tag. At Hostinger, they're different. They actually offer truly unlimited websites and bandwidth with no hidden limits. So you can host as many websites as you want, and you'll never have to worry about running out of bandwidth. So check out the pricing on the business WordPress hosting. That's usually $3.99 a month. And that's for 100 websites. $3.99 a month. That's huge. And you also get another 10% off if you use the code EDGE when you sign up. That's what you should really be paying for hosting. Go to edgeofthewebradio.com/Hostinger. They're getting real. Something real in the AI news standpoint. We're going to rush through these guys real quick, but something to pay attention to from artificialintelligence-news.com. AWS and NVIDIA expand the partnership to advance generative AI. And again, there's a lot of data in this particular article. The collaboration between Amazon Web Services and NVIDIA have announced a significant expansion of their strategic collaboration at AWS regarding Invent. The collaboration aims to provide customers with the state-of-the-art infrastructure, software, and services to fuel generative AI innovations. Won't go deeper into this, but just make a note of this. With NVIDIA and AWS partnering together, there's something to watch there. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of tech talk in this thing that is slightly outside of my tech remit. However, I did notice that they were talking about bots. So they were saying that Amazon Robotics and fulfillment teams already use the Omniverse platform to optimize their warehouses. Now that I think is interesting. And I think that if we're starting to see that if this is a sort of an ops thing, if this has to do with like sort of bringing tech to the real world, which Amazon is fantastic at, they're really good at bridging the gap between, making a click and making something happen in real life. Their operations, their logistics are incredible. So this could be really fascinating. This could be a really fascinating
Yeah,
development.
just a mental note of that. Yeah, I didn't expect you to dive into the tech side, and that kind of scared me as well. But it was rich information. But just the sheer fact of those two powerhouses getting together, it's going to bode something here. I'm going to skip past Google reviews about lazy GPT-4 complaints, but the SEC probes investment advisors' use of AI. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Briefly, the agency's information requests come as Chair Gary Gensler has expressed skepticism about AI. The Securities and Exchange Commission is asking investment advisors how they use and oversee artificial intelligence as the agency head actually starts eyeballing this. Their examinations division has sent requests for information on AI-related topics to several investment advisors, part of the process known as a sweep. So SEC is sweeping investment agencies on how they're using AI. Yeah, you probably should know what the hell's going on there, right?
Yeah, and I think that this is like YMYL in real life. Like this is something that. Right. So, a lot of people are like, hey, just give us your money and our AI will invest it for you and that'll work great. But, and AI is brilliant. Like our team spends a lot of time working with AI. There's a lot of great stuff that happens with AI. However, certainly, there can sometimes be lag in the data processing. There can sometimes be different challenges in the data consistency. And with money, with trading, with things like that, people build servers so that there's milliseconds between making a trade and not making a trade.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Right. So if the AI isn't up to scratch, then people could be paying money for something that doesn't work. So I think that this is a responsible thing that they're looking at reviewing this. They were saying that folks are looking at that. So yeah, I think it's something that's interesting.
Let alone if you actually had an investment guided by spicy AI, right?
Right. Well, and you know what's going to happen. Like, have you ever watched trading floors where they're doing AI just gonna be like, you're playing rock, paper, scissors. And nothing to get traded.
Alrighty.
Stock market will crash.
Yep. There's a lot of news that's happening in AI. I'm going to ask you, Crystal, pick from 1 to 3. What's your pick there? What's your pick?
I would like to pick. Oh, it says 1, but it's the second one on the list, the Freeflo one.
Okay, so we're talking AI tools here. She picks Freeflo.ai. Check this thing out. Create better AI images with beautiful, free, and endless reusable style prompts for Midjourney, Clipdrop, Firefly, and DALL-E. This was cool, and I wanted to bring this up and let you guys have a look at it here. We'll have all the links in the show notes. These are prep prompts in so many different styles for AI generation of images. Do you want to know where to start whenever you're trying to actually create a style? This is next level, actually. There's a lot. Cool. This is really cool. A collection of starting prompts to be able to create certain type of art that you can then sculpt. It's almost like a preset mold of sorts that you want to actually push into Midjourney or any of the graphic AI creation tools. I tried it out, and it really does work. And then it gives you this scaffolding that you can start putting additional prompts to. So I'm excited about this. This is truly a cobble industry where you're going to start getting licensing of certain prompts to get you started on the generative experience, So that's freeflow.ai. Did you try that out at all, Crystal?
I've tried it. It just keeps saying coming soon. So I haven't been able to load it. However, looking at the ways that it's working, and I think that having tried to get a nice image on from an AI generator. I think it is an art.
Oh my gosh, you better believe it.
People who are able to generate like good images via AI, and who know which prompts to make it work, they're doing some great work there. And so it is a valuable tool and will save people a lot of time. So I think that that's great. And I think that it's also really useful, particularly for SEOs, because in the prompts, you can include your keywords. So, if you're selling shoes, you can say you want shoes in the foreground, that sort of thing. And you can put in those product attributes and the things that you need in order to make sure that they're prominent in the image that you're adding to your site. So yeah, I think that it's a great tool and super useful.
Here's a perfect example. Selfie shot this is for a selfie shot on iPhone 12 Pro Max of subject taking a selfie, snapshot, realism, emphasis on facial expression, AR 1080 by 1920, no phone involved. This is some really neat sculpting it. So go check it out. We're not sponsored by anybody in that space. I always just trying to find a neat tool in the chaos of AI generation here. Hey, but we do have another neat tool that we want to make sure you check out. That's InLinks. If you go over to InLinks, they are a long-term sponsor of Edge of the Web. They have a social media tool that can actually create social media content right from your own website content. They're a fantastic interlinking tool, structured data creation tool. They have some fantastic AI components to them. But if you go over to edgeofthewebradio.com/inlinks, you can get a free trial and check out the product. We've been a agency member of InLinks for about 2.5 years here. And the crew over there at InLinks is fantastic, and they're constantly evolving this software. So go check them out over at edgeofthewebradio.com/inlinks. All right. That said, 1, 2, or 3. Crystal, pick it.
Your number 3, please.
Your number 3. Yeah, that's the one I thought you were going to pick anyway.
Do I have a washing machine? Do I want a trip to Hawaii?
You win ranking factors on your Google business profile, as long as you've got open or closed business hours. Check this puppy out. This is kind of scary, actually.
This is going to cause a mess.
It's already causing a mess. Joy Hawken and the team over there posted about a new Google local ranking factor, and I literally freaked out when I saw that. The factor is if a business is currently listed as open or closed based on its business hours. She said businesses that are currently closed are now ranking lower than they did a few weeks or so ago. According to the report, Google's local ranking now looks at business hours in operation. This is the point, folks, is that for all your optimization, trying to get to the top of the local stack, whenever you stop doing business, your rankings are falling.
This is terrible.
This is a terrible idea, because if I'm planning a reservation for my wife on an anniversary, right? And I'm looking up best restaurants, and I know they're closed, but I'm still looking up because
You're doing it at midnight.
I'm doing it at 1 a.m. Exactly.
A week before, like all husbands do.
Exactly.
Not the night before, a week before.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate the coverage there. And that ranking goes down because their business hours have affected the position. Why would that be valuable to me?
It's not valuable. It's going to cause businesses to change their hours.
Yep.
And then they're going to be lying. I don't know how that'll be detected, like whatever. Again, if I got up this morning, I was like, I really need to find someplace to get my oil changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I search it first thing this morning knowing I'm going to do it at lunch today. Is somebody going to lie about their hours, saying they're open?
Just to be able to have that visibility.
This is awful. It's stupid.
Well, and in real life, you don't want to show up to a place that's closed.
Right, exactly.
Like, nobody wants to go all the way down to the donut shop only to see that there's no bear claws, and they're not going to give you the thing. Like if you say you got donuts, I want my donuts now.
Right.
Like.
Check out Barry, actually, over Search Engine Roundtable, did a test. Here's a lawyer local pack after 9 a.m., like personal injury lawyers, right? And after 6 a.m., Rusty Brick came up top, and then somebody else was closed, and then some web design studio on the same, that was web development company.
Yeah, no, but you're right. They do change, though, through it. Yeah. And, like, on the local thing, they have opened up a filter that's like open now, like for instance, for donuts, right? If I want donuts, like, and like that is kind of a factor, like, because like if you get a hanker and you want the donut now, but if I'm looking to order like donuts for our party or something, like, let's say I want to have like a donut tree, they don't need to be open right now for me to know that they're valuable.
And there's such a difference too between that donut place that has physical hours and a web design company, which someone might just go ahead and say, oh, I am open 24/7. Because if you want to call me and ask me for a website quote, I'll give it to you any time of day because I want your business. Like, this is
They haven't use case this thing out at all.
No.
And lots of people freaking out. Darren Shaw actually was demonstrating some major issues and hypotheticals out there. Kudos to Joy Hawkins and the team over at, is that Sterling?
Sterling Sky.
Sterling Sky that are constantly doing local U as well as fantastic local optimization. They got a really cool tool and demonstrable results in that.
They have to reverse this.
They really do.
And again, I have no problem with you saying this is a highly rated lawyer. It doesn't open for another 3 hours.
Right.
I would rather know that than get some, fly-by-night ambulance chaser that changes hours to 6 a.m. because he thought I'd be looking him up that early.
Right.
This is...
It's BS. It's local SEO BS, folks.
This is rock, paper, scissors.
This is rock, paper, scissors in the real world. Well, that's it for the news this week. Crystal, any final thoughts besides that local BS?
Just keep your data clean. Do your best.
And be cautious about AI because we're bloody scared over here at the edge. Thanks so much. We really do appreciate your time today, Crystal. It's always a pleasure to be able to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. That's it for The Edge this week. Make sure that you check out the Elizabeth Marston interview that we had regarding e-commerce and retail media networks. That's a fantastic concept, and man, they're killing it over there. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well so you get updated whenever we drop in our videos from our different shows. From all of us over The Edge, stay safe, stay well, and do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.